I'm just doing an update on the Pedofilth series, because recently I've come across a few things which I think you should know about. Well, let's start off. Do you know the iPhone application known as Tinder? Well, recently on Australian television, an IT guy pointed out that Tinder has what you would call a junior part of its application. Now, Tinder is really just a hookup application. Put your photo, put your location, and if someone likes you, they contact you and you arrange to have sex, which is basically what it is. However, what I didn't realise, and I think most people didn't realise, is that Tinder has it's part of the same application, but a category, because on Tinder you should be 18 years and over, legal adults, but they also have a 13 to 17 aged category. So hookups for kids basically. Now Tinder don't particularly say much about it, but it does exist. And this IT guy on TV pointed out that all you need to access the Tinder Junior or whatever is a Facebook account. That's it. You can say, just make up a Facebook account, say you're 14, whatever. And that's the proof of age for Tinder now. So he did an example. He set up a Facebook account and joined Tinder as a 14-year-old boy. And so he got into the junior section and he put a picture for a profile of a child who was obviously much younger, probably about 10. And within minutes, he said his name was Joe, he was 14, and that's it. Within minutes, basically, as soon as he posted the profile, it was hit on. Straight away. And, looking at Tinder, looking at Facebook, when you're using Facebook as your proof of identity, we're talking about the same Facebook that has, 56 gender identity classifications. I mean, this is a hookup for perverts, nothing else. And that's something, you should check it out for yourself. But yeah, this guy showed how pedos can hook up, at their convenience. So this idea that it's some fat old drunk hanging around public toilets in the park, no, that's over. We're looking at younger perverts and very tech-savvy ones. Anyway, but I think parents have to really take an interest in what their children are doing on the internet. Now, I've said in this series that the Chan sites are basically overrun with pedophiles. And I'll tell you a clip I've seen. If anyone knows Master Chan, it's a pedophile hookup site. Pedophiles get together, they give each other information, they use Kick to communicate with each other. There was a clip that was put on there, and I had a look, and there were two girls in front of a webcam. You know, I would say it was a webcam because they were interacting with whoever was on the other end of the connection. I'm guessing this guy. He's, I don't know, somehow got access to, either their webcam, through some sort of, chat program, or he's hacked their system. These two girls were aged about, let's say 9. And what they were doing, you could hear their audio and see what they were doing. You couldn't see the guy on the other end. And they were arranging a hookup, They were all playful and stuff. And then they were wearing shorts. They took the shorts off. And I was saying to whoever this was, saying, well, if you come up to, it was in America, so I'm not quite certain about the place, maybe it's something like Tahoe Lakes or something like that. If you come up to the lakes and see us, we'll take everything off. We'll show you our pussies. And so they'll like in their underwear, spreading their legs and stuff like that. And one said to her, well, I suppose we can show our butt cheeks. And they were like performing a strip routine you'd expect on an adult site. Unfortunately, the internet connection I was on, broke off, so I didn't get to see the whole thing. But one girl was bent over, she was pulling down her underpants. And, these, I don't know, you have to say our society is failing when shit like this happens. But, parents should take note these things are occurring. You can't just say, it's just kids being kids. But, looking at the likes of Master Chan and other Chan sites, I came across something, because like now, pedos are not hiding child pornography anymore. Usually you had to go to the dark web to access this. But I came across this on Master Chan. People put pictures and you have like thumbnails. Now, there were thumbnails appearing on threads, but the thumbnails were smudged. So you couldn't positively identify what was in the picture. But, you had an idea. Now, you got these thumbnails, which are smudged, and you got next to it a little thing that says click to expand. So, looking at these thumbnails, press click to expand. I saw some great delights there. One of them was a girl about 18 months old sucking a guy's dick. Now, this isn't on the darknet, this is mainstream internet. This is the clear net. And you got, sort of like ads for pedophile websites. all you have to do is click to expand the picture, which comes through uncensored, and it'll give you the URLs and stuff like that. And I found a curious picture. It was just a junk picture, didn't mean anything. But I thought, well, this is an unusual thing to, you say where to get movies, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, why would you put a junk picture? There's no nudity, no nothing. It's just like some sort of distorted cartoon character. And it got me thinking, what would be the purpose of it, and how would it be done? And I was just wondering, but then it hit me, steganography. Now, steganography is where you can hide text messages within pictures, JPEGs, PNG files, and so on. You can, if you got the steganography program which made it, you could decrypt, URL connections, like websites, download sites, and so on, from that picture. But on the surface, it would just appear to be a junk picture. So, that's another thing to consider. Look, pedos are very tech savvy. We're not, like I said, we're not dealing with fat, dirty old men hanging around toilets. We're dealing with probably guys in their 30s, have a good deal of IT knowledge. Yeah. So, this is, from my point of view, what I thought we were dealing with before was a war of attrition. Pedos would put heaps of links on various sites, in forums, guest books, and so on. And, obviously the police couldn't track down every single one or find where they were all listed. So on that part, you could say pedos were making an inroad, so to speak. They were matching it. But now they're using real technology to peddle their wares. And they do it for free. So, But I will point out one thing about the trans sites. The trans sites that deal with pedo stuff, they, were usually dorky teenagers, the fat, dirty old man, so to speak, things like that. But I've seen recently children being involved in this, and of their own free will. Now, there is if you look on a trans site, you look for they have their own sub-forums, trying to spread their info, hoping to avoid the police or avoid, publicity to those who are not in the know. But there is a sub-forum called 222. Now, if you don't know what 222 is, oh yeah, it's a ripper, this one. They deal with snuff pornography. Snuff movies, people being killed on camera, so to speak. Literally. But 222 deals with child snuff pornography. And, you've got to ask, what is the awareness of kids? I, just out of curiosity, went to, I think it was Master Chan, and I tracked down their 222 sub-forum, and you got girls aged, say, 8 to 10, saying 222, respect. Now, if you hear that by your kids, you really have got to check up what they are doing on the internet. 222, respect. That's like a motto for these, serial killer pedophiles. And some of the weird shit, I mean, you're talking about people who post stuff like, well, to preserve the beauty of a young girl, she has to be fucked and then she has to be killed. This is the sort of stuff they say. So we are dealing with a serious problem. If this stuff, just whether by tech knowledge or simply by attrition becomes more and more acceptable, you'll have children lining up to be victims of pedophiles. It's something that's expected, it's hip. Oh yeah, you allow a pedo to rape you and kill you, that way you preserve your beauty, so to speak. I mean, this is fucked up shit. And it's something that parents, the community, nations, the world has to do something about. You can't just allow this crap just to continually happen. And you may be wondering, oh, that'll never happen. Or, oh, somebody should do something about that. Fucking hell. I've seen, I don't, why these people call themselves parents, I have no idea. It's like the state has to raise our kids. The TV raises our kids. Oh, the kids are just here. Oh, we have nothing better to do. It's what's expected. But leaving the internet stuff aside, I want to talk about how this can actually come true. Now, in Australia, probably about 3 weeks ago, we had this anti-bullying debate. Most people, yeah, I'm against bullying in schools. Yeah, well, true. I believe that teachers and students should be protected within schools. That's not negotiable. But what the government didn't tell you was that what it was an anti-bullying program for, transgender and intersex children. I shit you not. This was, if a boy wants to dress up as a girl, he shouldn't be bullied. If a girl thinks she's a boy, she shouldn't be bullied. Now, most people thought, it's a program to prevent violence, or considering that it's to do with transgender, intersex, and whatever crap it is. As part of the program, there should be some sort of sex education thing. Very important. This is the one thing poofters and pedophiles and other perverts have always wanted to do. Get into sex education within schools. But this one's better. Generally, sex education occurs when kids hit 13. What we would call year 7, year 8. And it's basically, don't sleep around, you get pregnant. Don't sleep around, you could get AIDS. Don't sleep around, there's like herpes and all these diseases and so on. But this Well, that's for straight students. Male, female, that's it. But this wasn't coming in as a sex education program. This was coming in as, an anti-bullying violence prevention program. So, whereas, sex education for straight kids, we know, occurs when you're like 12, 13, the anti-bullying program was going to come in at kindergarten. So you would have all these fucking perverts making their way into infant schools, 5 years old. Amy, if you're a boy and you think you're a girl, that's okay. You should wear dresses. You should do this. I mean, after that, if there wouldn't be a formal type of sex education policy, then there would be a de facto one done through the bullying program, which is specifically aimed at transgender and intersex children. I mean, a 5-year-old boy dressed up as a girl, perverts would pay serious money to access that. And you know what makes it worse? Lately on TV, you have people going on about transgendered children. And there was this one show I saw. There was a boy who was done up as a girl. He was about 6 years old. As far as he's concerned, he's a girl. He wears dresses, he plays with dolls and stuff like that. And I'm wondering, what are the parents in it? Oh, of course the mother and the father came into it. And the father, he looked like a real dickweed, a real cuckold. He's probably not even the father, the bloody postman's the father. But the mother, oh yeah, she was right into this. As soon as the TV cameras went on her, she's like, I've got to be progressive, I've got to be liberated. She didn't give a shit about the kid. Dressing up your little boy as a little girl, the publicity comes to her. And when you do that, my little boy's a little girl, and I dress him up and I call him Candy and shit like that. You can hit the progressive circuit. You get invited, with all your poofed friends and all that, who instant friends, to fancy cafes, fancy restaurants, fancy social functions, la-di-da-di-da. You get to bond with all these fucking queers and other pedos and whatever. Because they shower so much attention on her, they are in effect paying for what's going to come up the back door, literally. I forget this mother's name, it's not even worth mentioning anyway. Having trannies, holding sleepovers and shit like that. So little Candy would be educated if she came to our place and see how us, I don't know, transvestites live or whatever, or transgender. Anybody says that if that were ever to occur, you would have a conga line of bloody poofed pedophiles around the block waiting to take a turn. And this sort of stuff, well, no one talks about this policy that was going to come out and enforced in schools. Probably because people started checking up on it and realised what it was really about. And I guarantee you, if they don't come about, the pervert, pedo, sex education would most probably come around. But, unbelievably, that parents would indulge in these things, supposedly on behalf of their children. Maybe I shouldn't call them children, just call them fashion accessories. What we are seeing is the death of the Western world, if not the entire world, because of self-promoting narcissists and perverts. And that's pretty much it. But, there was a politician in Australia, he posted, said, this is wrong. Corey Bernardi. Now, Corey's known for real, I suppose I should say, hard right-wing perspectives. And first point of call as soon as he said, no, this is wrong, don't do it. People say, you're homophobe, you're an Islamophobe, you're anti-Semitic, blah, blah, blah. And it's always the queers and people of the left-wing spectrum of politics who are screaming like hell, you're not progressive, you believe in God, sort of thing. You're going to have to get through your skull, everyone. You're fighting some real evil, demonic creatures. And this has to be dealt with, whether you like it or not. So, I've done this series on Pedofilth series. And I've noted that the last clip I did was things to do against pedophiles. That seems to be a hell of a lot more popular than the things I did exposing, what pedophiles do, how they're using the internet. And I'm wondering, and I'm certain there are there pedophiles who are checking up on what I say in order to avoid being caught, and there probably are, and if you're one of them, it's not going to end well for you. But, people are going to have to do something about this, someone ought to do something about it. Well, it's really up to all of us to do something about it. Governments don't give a shit. Governments are the ones who are most likely, who put in the policies and systems to actually promote this sort of crap. Because they want your kids to die out and theirs to live. It's simple. Don't worry about Islamic State coming to kill you. Your government's going to kill you before then.